All right, so good night, everyone. And once again, we talking Trinidad and Tobago football. I have the pleasure of being here tonight with Dion Sosa. For those who don't know who Dion is, I would say go and look back at a video that we did before because he gave a full introduction as to who he is. But in short, he represents some of our players outside there, and right now, people like Dante, people like Levi would have gone through with Dion. So he's a person who is well known in the football field and always on the lookout, I guess, for budding talent. So I'll be able to help them and get them out there as they could, right? So Dion, I just wanna thank you for the opportunity again tonight, sharing a little time with me. The reason I wanted to do this is because I saw you posted something a couple days ago, the 12th of July, on Facebook, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I have some sentiments that I believe kind of similar to that also. And then I saw you kind of added back something today to about football also. So I'll probably talk a little bit about that also. So the one that you had on the 12th is, I'm just gonna read it just as you have it written here. I was talking with a good friend of mine who coaches my son, and he said to me today, Trinidad is one of the few countries that solely rely on SSFL to transition players to the professional level, whether local or foreign. And he is so correct. Outside of America, you never hear a player at a school is ever considered a professional prospect in any sport, especially football. All the top players develop at professional academies, so once we continue to encourage young prospects to chase amateur football, we will never stand a chance to perform at a high level in international, youth, or senior team tournaments. Once we keep allowing adults to play against kids, we are just wasting priceless years of players' time, lives. Um, so I kind of wanted to call this segment, if we had to name it a segment, Trinidad football culture killing Trinidad football. So now that I read your post, I'll go ahead and open it up to you so you could talk a little bit and let's get your first thoughts on it.
All right. Well, good night, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago and abroad. Okay. Well, my thoughts are exactly what I said on my Facebook. Is that I've been involved in in, in this scouting since 2001. Right. So that's 24 years, and I've also been involved in football for many years as a player, as a coach, in that capacity. So I've
Right.
seen so many young players come through our secondary school system, and you always relate to him now as he was a good player. But, that guy was, and you always hearing that now he was. The reason
Yeah.
why we say that because these guys show a lot of potential, but after secondary school, there's no pushing.
Hmm.
Because the system is our setup, it's totally wrong. Because you have players in school 19, 20, 21 years of age. That is ridiculous. Right?
Yeah.
Totally ridiculous. Because all they're basically doing with these young guys is just promoting their amateur status to play for the school and win titles. But if you are serious about wanting to become a professional, how is secondary school football going to enhance or develop you? It's when your peers are in a professional academies at 6 and 7 years old, right, and coming
Yeah.
through the system and the third ranks, right, and they played in all kind of international tournaments all over the world
Hmm.
against top players, of their generation. And we
Yeah.
here chasing schoolboy football, right? How are we going to close that gap? You know,
True.
so we keep promoting this and telling these young guys that that is very important. You need to be in school at 20 years old, repeating Form 5 or going to lower 6 or upper 6, and encouraging adults, because they're past 18,
Right.
who are going to be competing against schools that have 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, right? So that's a clear advantage you have with these older players.
True. True,
So
true, true.
even if you happen to win the league or win whatever it is, you're supposed to. Because if your team is full of senior players like that and you're competing against these young kids, you're supposed to win. There's nothing else. It's supposed to be the result. So I realize all these coaches, majority of them, they don't care about these kids. All they care
True.
about is what you do between September and December. As football season done, a lot of kids drop out of school. They don't do exams, right? They do, and they don't even care about these kids. What they're looking at is the next batch for the next following season, or they
Hmm.
can find some other loophole to get the kids back into school, like the same incident we had last year with the Terrell Garcia guy. You know,
Yeah.
you could see he was not a student at the school. Clearly, you could see that. Anybody could see that, right? But what they do, they manipulate the system to get him back into school, right? Based on whatever they had to do. And you see what the end result was? They lost the protest, they lost the league, and they lost things that he participated in. When they could have simply, if they cared about him, ask him to be a student first, right?
Hmm.
But they don't care. All they care about is his talent. He come to the school, he play, right, and he score goals and he win titles for them. That's all they really care about, right? Because if they really care, they would have told him, look, you might cause us to lose stuff. It's better, you step aside and just focus on your schoolwork, right? And let us clear up these issues with the
Yeah.
secondary and get him totally cleared first before you reinstate him, back, They never stopped it, but, when they kept allowing him to play and you see what the end result was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. If you really cared about this boy, you would have sat him down and said, look, right now, you are the focus of our investigation going on right now. I would think the best thing for you to do, right, is to step aside and let us take care of the matter as soon as as quickly as possible,
Right.
right? Then we could, we could bring you back. That's what they do in America. I went to school in America, and whenever your grades drop below a C, you're called your academic suspension. You cannot practice with the team and you cannot play games with the team
Right.
until you bring your GPA back up to a 2.0. That's how the American system is. And they don't care if you're the star player or whoever
Yeah.
you are. That's the criteria. So we need to adapt these criteria here in Trinidad, where if you have a student athlete competing for your school, there
Yeah.
needs to be academic requirements for them.
Right.
Right? You have to maintain you have to go to class. Not just go to class and just lying. You have to take your schoolwork seriously. And
Hmm.
coaches to check up on these players and make sure, talk to the teachers, talk to the deans to find out, how they're going academically, and if they need help or whatever it is. That's what, if you're a coach, that's what you need to do. If you really care about these boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
see from the past experience, you can see they don't really care. Right? All they care about is W's.
Hmm.
That's why most of these kids, when they finish school, they have barely little or no education,
Yeah.
right? They have no life skills, they have nothing. They're totally dependent on football. So if they don't make it in football, whether it's locally or abroad, there's no
Hmm.
plan.
True.
So my God, in my academy, I had kids who came to me who went to these prestige schools, and the amount of accolades they have, right?
Hmm.
Everybody wanted them. But here what happened? When I asked them for the transcripts,
Yeah.
that's for them right. Some of these guys have one pass, some have two passes, some have no passes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's obviously all the talent they have and all the accolades they won and all the national teams they made, they don't have the academic qualifications to get a scholarship. So there was nothing I could do
Right.
for them. Sadly, right, or more than recommend maybe to join a local professional club.
Yeah.
Some got the opportunity to go abroad and try out. That was the best I can help them. You know,
Hmm.
but those who failed and wasn't successful, they have to resort now to maybe working CPEP, maybe working URP, or maybe in a gas station, or maybe a hardware. A very low paying job because
Yeah.
they didn't take up advantage of the opportunity they had at these
True.
prestige, but they were never
True.
asked. some of these guys, right, they didn't even come to school. They only came to meet the Maxi when the Maxi leaving to go and play a game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right? These are the kind of nonsense that's going on in schools.
Yeah.
I went to
Yeah.
watch
Yeah. Yeah.
football on him years ago, and the top player, he was doing? He was gambling outside his class. When I asked the assistant coach, who was a teacher at the school at the time, I said,
Mhm.
so why he's not in class? He said, well, he just doing what he wants. I said, but how you allow him to play? He said, we need him. You see? Right.
Hmm.
So that's exactly what we need him.
Yeah.
So he didn't care if the boy was outside the class gambling or inside the class gambling. Once he available on a Wednesday and a Saturday, that
Right.
basically they were interested in him. And
Hmm.
what if it happened? The boy finished school, no passes, went on to play in the Pro League, and now he's 26 and he's out of the Pro League now. He's a father and he has no source of employment. So what is his plan B now?
Wow. Wow.
Right. So you see
I
exactly.
mean, I know some similar stories to that also. One that stands out, and again, because we're not calling any names.
Yeah.
When I was working in Trinidad, I was working in the industry, and I remember working in a turnaround, and I am seeing a young man who I know was a star for Shiva Boys, and he he was fantastic for Shiva Boys, and just I guess nothing ever happened after that.
And I got
And
yeah, I got that. Guys,
and I saw him.
I use him as a reference too. But just the other day, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I told him that same player
Mhm.
was so talented, right? So talented. And
Yeah.
now he's a young guy. He's probably 25, 24, 25, 34.
Yes. Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I hear nothing about this guy.
True.
I heard him
True.
playing SFA, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Hmm.
level and this guy was, at the time, he was the best player in secondary school football for years.
Hmm.
Right? That
Yeah.
year when Spada run, he was the top player in secondary school football for maybe 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But bad choices, you went to school, you didn't take part in the classes, all these things, because they're not encouraged, right? A lot of these
Yes.
boys are encouraged. And what I blame the parents, because I don't understand as a parent, how you not checking up on your child, right? How you not asking them, coming in school, finding out, how we doing in school. How can your child can be failing and you don't know as a parent? That to me is mind blowing, right?
True.
Yeah,
True. True.
I can't understand anything. Next thing too is how you could, if you know your child only has 2 passes, how could he come home and tell you he informed 6? Things like this it is real disturbing because I mean you have to know what the requirements are to go into Form 6, right, as a
Right.
parent. So there's no way you could tell me, you come home and tell me, Daddy, I have 2 passes and I go in Form 6. I mean, something that's not adding up, right? So
Yeah.
I will go,
Yeah.
I need to find out how was my son eligible to come back to school with 2 passes.
Yeah.
I'll go to the Ministry of Education to find out the requirements. As a parent, I will show that type of concern because I don't want my son to be involved in no fraudulent activity.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they're doing. Because that means somebody is doing something illegal to get my son back into school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I don't want to call anybody slow or anybody, who not thinking right, but something not adding up. For as a parent, you know, you are allowing your child to be doing these illegal stuff.
True.
Just kind of strange and nobody asking no questions. So it's just kind of weird to me, that a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So let me just kind of talk about the one that you posted. Well, that'll be today because it's still 23
Yeah.
hours ago, right? Another season of SSFL is beginning in September, but you have a lot of coaches pressuring players who on vacation not to play with their clubs or coach in schools, etc. Here's what I'm saying. School football is September to December. The players you are using, where did they get all that ability and footballing know-how from? I guess they were hit by lightning and got superhuman football powers. Look, stop that shit at once. Without them learning their trade elsewhere, you won't have any decent players to try and build your team around. Look at you have a coach's name. He spent so many years at a particular prestige school. and he never produced or developed anyone, never got a scholarship or a professional trial. All these people doing is using the players to chase SSFL glory, which at the end of the day really equals nothing. So after they leave school, the majority of them have no skill, no education or life skill to amount to anything of quality. So kind of tiny a little bit to what you're saying, but it goes a little bit more in depth as
Yes.
to some of the rules, I guess, for people playing football in school. So talk a
So,
little bit about that.
well, what else? What I just had a conversation on a chat I was in. I was
Mhm.
explaining to parents there is no law, there's no law in the constitution of secondary school football that bars a player from playing for his club. Right? Those rules are rules set by the school, which is illegal, right? Because
Okay.
there's no law, so you're not breaking no law, you're not breaching no law, no contract per se, right?
Hmm.
So what I'm saying, right, I told parents that your kids are on vacation right now. School is out. What
Yeah.
you what you do or don't do with your child is your business, right?
Hmm.
There's nobody to force you that your son have to come out and train or you have to play a game or what. But the school is out. It is vacation. But these
Yeah.
coaches are pressuring these kids and telling them if you don't come and train, if you don't come a game, you will not be eligible to play for the school. That is wrong. That is illegal. And parents need to stand up to this nonsense. Right? This is illegal. Right?
Right.
Because in my time, summer vacation, you know we were abroad. Right? We go and travel with our clubs, coaching schools, we go and play international tournaments abroad. We go and buy our family for vacation. Right? So if I went
Hmm.
away for my vacation, I am going to be victimized because my parents choose to send me abroad by my family. How is that wrong?
True.
That's what they choose because I'm a minor. I don't have any say in that. So if
Right.
I when I spend the entire vacation by my grandparents and I come back in time for school, why I can't pay for my school? What's the problem? You understand? So
True.
we never had those problems back in my time. But I was talking to a friend of mine. I told him we train my club train on a Friday and a Sunday. Our coach didn't care because he know that the development we were getting at our coaching school was a high level,
Right.
and it helped us to perform at a high level for our school. He never had no problem with us Friday and a Sunday going to our coaching school. And so, so what is the big problem now? Right?
Hmm.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
Right? But these are the same coaches who working with these players all year round, keeping them sharp and developing them and improving them
Right.
for the coach only have them for probably like about 6 to 8 weeks. Right? Because what can you do for my son in 6 to 8 weeks? They do.
True.
Right?
True. True.
My son is coming here as a proven player. All you doing is putting him out there and performing for your school.
Hmm.
Right? And bringing glory to your school. You are enhancing him. He came there already the polished product. Right? Yes, I see all that been going on since I know secondary school football. Is the
Right.
is the grassroots coaches is the ones who are responsible for the development.
Yeah. Yeah.
Santo Tech didn't make Russell Latifi, Mokrafa didn't make Clint Marcel, Arima didn't make um Mickey Trotman, right? You know, Fatima didn't make those players that they have. You understand? All these star players, the school didn't make them, right? They didn't make them because it's impossible
Yeah.
to develop a player in 6 to 8 weeks. It's impossible. You understand?
Mm.
That's somebody hard work and
Yeah.
dedication over a period of years and years, and they're not getting no credit for it, right? Because when they
Hmm.
come out to the school, you don't hear Dion Sosa, Jalili White coaching school. You don't hear that. You hear Dion Sosa, Belmont Secondary. That's what you hear. You see, so they getting credit
Yeah.
for somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So people have to understand that, right? That they're giving these coaches and these principals too much of power, you know, too much of
Mm.
power. They are pressuring the kids, right? Because nobody is standing up to them. You understand? Everybody is taking all this BS, right?
Yeah.
Letting it slide. And then when it's finished now, what you end up with? A child with no education. So the same clowns on them who pressuring you, right? Destroying your child's life, right? Because they have them chasing the secondary school glory, and when the glory
Yeah.
done, what you have to show for it? Nothing.
True. True.
Nothing financially, nothing educationally, you have nothing to show for. How many of these coaches actually care? Because most of these guys is outside guys who brought in from the outside. They're not even teachers at the school, they're not even faculty at the school, they don't care. They're outsiders, they come in to do a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wins and losses. So at the end of the day, you feel them care about your school, your child,
Hmm.
and his school work, and they care about him generally. No, they don't. Majority of them don't. And people have to wake up and understand that. Right? They don't care. Who don't like it? I tell you, they don't care. The child come and get hurt. You as the parent, you have to rehabilitate your child. Most
Mm-hmm.
schools have insurance. They get hurt, where they're going. It's Port Spring General, Montauk Medical, and whatever San Fernando General, whatever
Yeah.
available. They most of the schools do even have insurance. So when a child get hurt, let's say you tear the ACL, God forbid. Who taking care of your child?
Hmm.
Not the school.
True.
Right?
True.
You as a parent now, you know how hard it is a surgery, a ACL surgery is about 75, $80,000. Your parents have that money to go and perform a surgery. That is
Yeah.
one. Then the rehabilitation, most sessions like $4,500 a session. And we have our ACL takes probably about 8 months to a year. So look at the kind of money we're talking about,
Right.
right? And then how they get in to and from school with an ACL injury. Who pays
Mm-hmm.
for that?
True.
Who covers
True.
that bill?
True.
Right. So you got to look at all these things, and people have to sit down and and do a little more diligence and have to understand that look, I have to look out for the overall beneficial thing for my child, right?
True.
It's good, yeah, it's good to play for your school. Nobody's saying no, I'm not against play for the school. You have to understand and prioritize, what exactly it is. If your child is getting that opportunity, but it also providing other things for them and it's balanced, that's good. But if it only benefited football and your child lost it out in the long run, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
as a parent, you can't, send your child down that road.
True.
When,
True. True.
because remember when these kids come out of school, they're adults.
Yes.
What they're gonna do when they come out of school? If you have no passes, what you gonna do? You're gonna sit up in
Yeah.
my house. I taking care of you for the rest of your life. No, that didn't happen. That
True.
didn't happen.
True. True.
So you have to sit down and plot this out and talk to your kids and say, look, let us come up with a strategy that will benefit both parties, not only benefit in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because remember, look, some schools, you're practicing every day and then you have games, right? Are they providing any nutrition to your kids? Right? Yes, and
Hmm.
yes, and right. Remember, they're coming straight from school,
Yeah.
right? The school whole day, then you go and practice. What are they eating properly? Right? And school providing anything for them, training, supplements, anything, Majority of the schools, nothing. Mostly getting water. You might get a little
Hmm.
Gatorade. Every now and then we games, so I get Gatorade. But training sessions, it's majority just water they getting. So when they go to school, they spend all day in school, then they go training.
Yeah.
Get to them at 6, 7, they have homework to do, they're tired. Right? They're tired.
Hmm.
And when they fall asleep and they do the homework, and the next day, who's going to suffer? And then, when they go to
True.
school, they finish the homework. Because
Yeah.
they or they have a test. You see, so you have to sit down and look at the overall picture and figure out if this is really worth, it at the end, if it's
Hmm.
going to, because if the school doesn't have a reputation of producing scholarship athletes, right? When you go and you play all that football, you know, what the plan be?
True.
You
True. True. True.
trying to attempt to help you to get a scholarship, or you even know how to. You know what, kids come to me from all these prestige schools. And I was like, you have all these accolades, you have
Mm-hmm.
these academic qualifications, and you never get any opportunity to go abroad. And they told me straight up, no, never, no one, no coach ever. So I used to have showcases where I brought coaches down from the US. And every year we would get between 8 and 10 scholarships every year, right?
Okay. Okay.
From the top schools. The boys
Mm-hmm.
come who was the star player at the school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they end up at a Division 1 school because the school have no connections, no contacts.
Yeah.
So they keep the right people and we deliver for them. and the majority of them got full scholarships. Full
Right, right, right.
scholarships. You can't count it. That's like full scholarships, right? They
Yeah,
got, right? There was like no half with skull or right? They got full scholarships. Other these guys now, they're living in America now. They have their bachelors, they have their masters. Some went
right.
on doctorates, right? And they're living the best life now in America because
Mm,
they came to the right people with the right connections. When they was wasting time all them years with these coaches who could even probably get them an opportunity to go UTT. I don't know how they have no connections.
right,
You know,
right, right.
you have to sit down and you have to talk with your parents and decide, you know, what is important for you, what is, what they come up with a plan, and
Yeah,
how we doing? Well, are we going for scholarship? Are we going to be a professional? So you have to sit with your parents and you guys have to discuss and stop letting other people make decisions for your kids.
mm,
That's what we need to stop,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's been going on for too long, too long,
And
right?
we're losing a lot of people. We're losing a lot of
Exactly. But
players
it's
who
into
have
crime.
no clue. Yeah,
It's into crime because when they can't get what they want and the football thing don't work out and they can't get a job and they have kids, right? I mean, somehow something has to work out, right? That's
true,
what
true.
they have, they have people to take care of now. So that's when it turns to crime. Look how many ex-national footballers got killed by police and got involved in crime because the football thing didn't work out, right? And
Yeah,
then they have no plan to follow because the majority of them went to school and they have no little or no education.
yeah.
So we've seen how it destroying kids, over and over and over. Right?
Mm.
Right?
Well, that's a good point and a good note to probably leave it. Hey, how you doing?
Good night.
Good night, good night. So in terms of that conversation, Dean, I think that's a good point. We could probably leave it at tonight because you left a lot of information out there for hopefully younger people who looking on to really make better choices. Because I mean, I've heard recently that if you're playing for Intercol, you're not allowed to play otherwise. So I honestly thought that was a rule somewhere that they established. But if we looking to get players 16, 17, 18 outside, then they have to be playing football somewhere because they had to develop your skill, you had to develop and be professional. So it's really a good point. And you really brought some good information here tonight. So I just want to say thanks for that. And we'll continue talking further for sure. But I do want to thank you for the time that we spent tonight. And I really hope that this generates some level of comments and conversations because we need to really figure it out and stop losing the amount of people that we're losing when it comes to at the end of secondary school football.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Right. What I have noticed, right, and I've been telling people that is a lot of people. The reason why they're making very poor decisions, they're not. They don't have the information
Right.
available to them. A lot of people here don't know what their rights are. Right.
Yeah.
So if a coach speak to them or some principal or maybe somebody in the ministry, somebody just say something to them, they get intimidated, right? They get intimidated and they kind of back down and they allow things to happen. When the only person has the right to do or control what their kids do is the parent or legal guardian. That's the only person, right?
Right.
It can make decisions based on potential. Nobody else, no ministry official, no principal, no coach, no trainer, no nobody. So all
Hmm.
that intimidating tactics where they do under pressure these boys, people have to understand that it's just a waste of time. You don't have to fall into that. You need to
Right.
stand with them and let them know, hey, this is what I want, right? And if you don't like it, well, that's your business. If you choose to victimize my child, I'll be taking legal action against it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we
Right.
do things and let them know, hey, this is we serious about our kids. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. The exploitation is going to continue and continue year after year, and more kids are going to get pushed out into the streets unprepared for that.
Hmm.
Uh, so we need to make a stand
Yeah,
sooner, the better.
true, true, and I agree with that. So, thanks again, and we'll continue talking. Um, I really appreciate your time, and I know you and I we chat always, so we could do this again as more issues come up. I don't know if we could do like a Friday night segment every so often, but where we bring information
Yeah,
and
no
allow
problem.
it.
No problem.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Same
So,
for our custom performing 2 games over the weekend.
okay, yeah, cool.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So you could stay on. I just wanna end the recording here now. So
All right.
thanks very much. Yeah.